Not everyone is ready for this message. But if you are here, if you feel a stirring in your spirit, then you are meant to receive this. Have you ever felt different, like you don't belong in this world? As if you were made for something greater, something beyond what most people can comprehend? If so, you may be one of the chosen. Throughout history, God has set apart certain people to carry out His divine will. They are not ordinary. They are called anointed and positioned for a purpose far greater than themselves. But here's the mystery: many of them don't even realize it. What if you have been carrying the marks of a chosen one all along? Today, we will reveal these unmistakable signs. If you recognize them in yourself, it's time to step into your divine destiny. Before we go deeper, declare your faith. Comment below, "I am chosen. I receive my divine calling." 1. The wrong people. Distance themselves from Yehav. You noticed that certain people seem to walk away from your life without any explanation. Have relationships fallen apart, not because of conflict, but simply because they could no longer be around you? This is not a curse. It is protection. Matthew 10:14 says, "If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet." God removes those who are not meant to walk with you. Toxic people, envious souls, those who carry deceit, they cannot stand being around the light of the chosen ones. Your presence exposes what is hidden. It makes those who live in darkness feel uncomfortable, even when you say nothing. This is why some people have mistreated you, spoken against you, or even tried to turn others against you. It was never about you, it was about what you carry. God is separating you for a reason. 2. You have a strong spiritual sensitivity. Have you ever sensed something before it happened? Do you often feel a deep knowing, a spiritual alertness that others do not seem to understand? This is not a coincidence. This is discernment. 1 Corinthians 2:14 says, "The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness, and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit." You are not imagining things. Your ability to see through deception, to recognize hidden truths, to sense what is unspoken, it is a divine gift. But here's the challenge: not everyone will understand you. Some may call you overly sensitive. Others may dismiss your warnings. Joseph, the son of Jacob, was mocked for his dreams, yet those dreams were from God. Your vision is real, and the more you embrace it, the stronger it will become. 3. You attract conflict without seeking it. You noticed that people sometimes challenge you, even when you have done nothing wrong. Do others feel the need to argue with you, to discredit you, to make you prove yourself, even when you never asked for their approval? This is spiritual warfare. The chosen ones carry truth, and truth is dangerous to those who live in lies. John 15:18-19 says, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belonged to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world." Your presence disrupts the plans of the enemy. You are a reminder that God's power is real, that faith is unshakable, and that righteousness cannot be bought. This is why you face battles that seem unfair. This is why people target you for no reason. But hear this: God fights for you. If you have experienced this, stand firm. The attacks will not prosper, and the favor on your life cannot be stolen. 4. You never fully fit in. Have you felt like an outsider, even in places where you should belong? No matter where you go, there's a part of you that feels different, as if you are not meant to be part of this world. That feeling is not a mistake, it is confirmation. Philippians 3:20 says, "But our citizenship is in heaven." You are not made for this world's systems, its values, or its distractions. Your heart longs for something greater, something eternal. Moses felt this. He was raised in Pharaoh's palace, surrounded by wealth, privilege, and power. Yet he never felt like he belonged. He chose to follow God's calling instead of remaining in comfort, and so must you. You are not called to fit in, you are called to stand out. 5. Children and animals react to you differently. Have you noticed that babies stare at you, that animals approach you, that small children seem drawn to you? This is because your presence carries something that is felt, not just seen. Children and animals recognize purity, love, and divine energy. Matthew 19:14 says, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Even in the Bible, we see examples of animals sensing spiritual forces before humans do. God's presence is in you, and others can feel it. 6. You receive messages through dreams, and signs you had dreams that later came true. Have you noticed patterns, repeated numbers, or divine messages appearing in unexpected ways? God speaks in many ways. Through dreams, visions, circumstances, and even people. Job 33:14-15 says, "For God speaks in one way, and in two, though man does not perceive it." In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men, if you have been receiving these signs, do not ignore them. They are meant to guide you, to confirm what God is showing you, to prepare you for what is coming next. 7. Your prayers carry power. Final and most powerful mark. Your prayers shift realities. When you pray, things happen. Doors open. Healing comes. Chains break. Not because of who you are, but because of the God who listens to you. James 5:16 says, "The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective." Some people pray and feel unheard. But you pray and heaven moves. This is why your connection with God is so strong. This is why when you speak, your words carry weight in the spiritual realm. You are not just a believer, you are an intercessor, a warrior in prayer, the final confirmation. You are chosen. If you recognize these signs in your life, then you are not here by accident. You have been set apart. You have been marked for something greater. You are part of a divine movement that cannot be stopped. Isaiah 43:1 says, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine." And now, the only question left is, what will you do with this knowledge? If you are ready to embrace your calling, declare it now. Comment, "I carry the marks of the chosen ones, because from this moment forward, nothing will ever be the same again." You now recognize the signs. You now understand that everything you have gone through, every battle, every loss, every moment of isolation, was never random. It was a preparation, a refining, a test to make sure that when the time came, you would be ready to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. The world has tried to keep you blind. The distractions, the false beliefs, the lies that were spoken over you, the pain that was meant to break you. It was all an attempt to stop you before you could realize the truth. You are chosen. You carry something inside of you that cannot be hidden. You have a calling that cannot be denied. God has been working behind the scenes, moving things into place, shifting the atmosphere in your favor. The enemy knows it. This is why your battles have been intense. This is why you have been tested in ways that others do not understand. This is why you could never settle, never fit in, never be comfortable with mediocrity. Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before you were formed in the womb, God knew you. Before you took your first breath, He set you apart." The world did not choose you. The systems of this world did not anoint you. The opinions of others do not define you. God has already placed His hand upon you, and nothing can take that away. When you begin to accept this, when you truly embrace what has been placed inside of you, your life will never be the same again. This is why some people feel uncomfortable around you. This is why you see things differently, why you think differently, why you process the world in a way that others cannot comprehend. It is because you were never meant to follow the crowd. You're always meant to lead. Some of you have been wondering why certain relationships have ended, why people have walked away from you, why you feel like no one truly understands what is happening inside of you. God has been separating you. He has been removing distractions. He has been clearing the way for what comes next. 2 Corinthians 6:17 says, "Come out from among them and be separate." There is a reason you feel called to step away from certain habits, certain conversations, certain environments. There is a reason you no longer find joy in the things you once did. Your spirit is awakening. The things that once entertained you no longer serve you. The people who once surrounded you no longer align with your purpose. You are stepping into a new level of understanding, a new level of authority, a new level of divine alignment. The chosen ones cannot stay where they once were. They cannot continue to walk in circles, repeating cycles that were never meant to define them. This is where faith comes in. Many of you have been feeling the shift. You have been sensing the change. You know that something is happening, but you cannot fully explain it. You are being positioned for something greater, but you must take the next step. Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" God is moving. He is opening doors. He is aligning opportunities. But you must be ready to walk through them. Doubt will try to creep in. The enemy will whisper lies, trying to make you believe that you are not worthy, that you are not qualified, that you are not strong enough. But hear this, the chosen ones are not perfect. They are not without flaw. They are simply those who have been called, those who have been anointed, those who have been set apart. Moses did not think he was qualified. David was overlooked. Esther was just an orphan girl. Yet, when the time came, they stepped forward. They embraced the calling that was placed upon them. They understood that it was never about their own strength, but about the God who was working through them. The same is true for you. If you have been struggling with fear, with doubt, with the feeling that you are not enough, it is time to release those thoughts. It is time to rise up. It is time to walk in the authority that has already been given to you. You will notice things beginning to shift. People will react to you differently. Some will be drawn to you, sensing the light that you carry. Others will avoid you, feeling exposed by your presence. This is normal. This is part of the process. Do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Do not dim your light because others are afraid of what it reveals. Ephesians 5:8 says, "For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light. You cannot return to the places you have outgrown. You cannot pretend to be blind when your eyes have been opened. The calling on your life is too great. The purpose within you is too powerful. The chosen ones are rising. They are stepping into their assignments. They are breaking generational curses, setting new standards, walking in supernatural favor. Everything that was meant to destroy, you will become the very thing that strengthens you. Every battle you have fought will serve as proof that you are never alone. Every setback will be turned into a setup for something greater. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." This is not the end of your story. This is only the beginning. The waiting season is over. The time for hesitation has passed. It is time to step forward. It is time to take action. It is time to embrace the full power of who you are. You have been given this knowledge for a reason. You have been led to this moment because you are ready. The distractions, the doubt, the confusion, all of it must be left behind. What comes next requires your full commitment, your full faith, your full obedience. The world is shifting. The chosen ones are being activated. The movement has begun. The only question left is, will you step into it? Will you embrace what has been placed inside of you? Will you walk boldly into the future that God has prepared for you? The journey of the chosen is not an easy one. It is filled with trials, with unexpected turns, with seasons of isolation and uncertainty. Many do not understand it. Even those closest to you may question why your life has been so different. Why? Your path has been filled with more challenges than most. But what they do not see is that every struggle, every hardship, every moment of doubt has been shaping you, refining you, preparing you for what is ahead. Being chosen does not mean walking an easy road. It means walking a road of purpose. It means carrying a responsibility that others do not have. It means standing firm when the world tries to pull you in another direction. It means walking by faith, even when the next step is unclear. Matthew 7:14 says, "Small is the gate and narrow, the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." The path you are walking is not meant for everyone. It is not a path of comfort. It is a path of refinement, a path that requires endurance, a path that demands complete trust in God's plan. There have been times when you questioned why you had to go through certain battles. Times when you looked at others and wondered why. Their lives seemed so much easier. But what you must understand is that your preparation has been different because your assignment is different. Joseph was given dreams of greatness, visions of what was to come. But before he could step into that calling, he was betrayed, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for years. To the world, it looked like he was forgotten, abandoned, left to suffer without purpose. But in reality, every step of his journey was leading him to a greater destiny. Genesis 52:20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." What was meant to break you will be the very thing that elevates you. What was meant to destroy you will become the foundation of your strength. There is a reason why you have faced battles that others have not. There is a reason why certain doors have been closed, why certain people have left, why certain situations have forced you to stand alone. You are never meant to live an ordinary life. You are never meant to settle. You are meant to rise. The world does not recognize the chosen ones immediately. They often go unnoticed, underestimated, rejected. But this is all part of the process. God does not call those who are already celebrated by the world. He calls those who are willing to be transformed, those who are willing to surrender to a higher purpose. Moses was called to lead, yet he spent 40 years in the wilderness before stepping into his purpose. David was anointed as king, but was sent back to the fields to tend sheep before he ever sat on the throne. Jesus himself was rejected by those he came to save, despised by those who could not see who he truly was. Being chosen means walking a road that is often misunderstood. It means carrying a vision that others may not yet see. It means believing in the promise, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Isaiah 55:8-9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." There will be times when you do not understand why things are happening the way they are. Times when you feel like the promise is too far away, like the journey is too difficult. But the chosen ones do not walk by sight. They walk by faith. They trust that every delay is divine timing, that every setback is a setup for something greater, that every moment of waiting is not wasted, but is working to strengthen them for what is to come. This is why your heart is different. This is why you have always felt a pull toward something greater, why you have never been satisfied with just existing. There is a deep knowing inside of you, a voice that has whispered to you since you were young, telling you that there is more, that you were created for something beyond the ordinary. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." Your purpose was set before you were even born. Your calling was written long before you took your first breath. Everything you have faced has been leading you to this moment. The reason the journey has been difficult is because what is inside of you is powerful. The enemy does not attack those who are not a threat. He does not fight against those who are already lost. He fights against those who have the potential to bring change, those who carry a light that cannot be extinguished, those who are marked for greatness. Luke 22:31-32 says, "Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail." Even Jesus warned that the chosen ones would be tested, that the process would not be easy. But he also promised that the faith of the chosen would not fail. There have been times when you wanted to give up, when the weight of your journey felt heavy. But something inside of you refused to let go. That was not your own strength. That was divine intervention. That was God keeping you, holding you, reminding you that there is still more ahead. The chosen ones do not quit. They do not settle. They do not fade into the background. They rise. They endure. They press forward even when everything around them says to stop. Philippians 1:6 says, "Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." The work in you is not finished. The story is still unfolding. The promise is still alive. Every challenge, every storm, every moment of difficulty has been shaping you for what is ahead. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been in vain. You are walking a road that few have. The courage to walk. You are stepping into a calling that requires faith, resilience, and unwavering trust in the one who has called you. The road may not be easy, but it is worth it. The challenges may be great, but the reward is greater. The waiting may seem long, but the fulfillment will be beyond what you ever imagined. You are never meant to live a life of mediocrity. You are meant to walk in power, in purpose, in divine alignment. And as you continue this journey, as you step forward into the unknown, with faith, know that every step is leading you exactly where you are always meant to be. The journey has not been easy. The path of the chosen is one of endurance, of faith, of trusting, even when the answers are unclear. But through every trial, every season of waiting, every battle fought in silence, something powerful has been happening within you. You have been growing. You have been transforming. You have been stepping into the fullness of who you are always meant to be. Everything that has led you to this moment has been preparing you for what comes next. The hardships were never meant to break you. They were meant to strengthen you. The delays were never meant to deny you. They were meant to refine you. Every challenge was a lesson. Every setback was a setup for something greater. Isaiah 42:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." This is where you are now. You are rising. You are moving forward with a strength that is no longer your own. The world does not understand this transformation. They do not see what has been happening inside of you. They do not realize that the version of you that existed before no longer remains. You have been renewed, reshaped, and positioned for something greater. The chosen ones do not walk according to the ways of the world. They are led by a higher calling. They see things differently. They respond to challenges differently. They move with a certainty that cannot be shaken. John 15:16 says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last." The calling on your life is not random. It is intentional. You were chosen for a reason. You are set apart for a purpose, and now the time has come to walk fully in that purpose. And no more hesitation. No more doubting whether you are worthy. No more waiting for the right moment to step into what has already been prepared for you. The time is now. The season has arrived. The shift has already begun. There will still be challenges. There will still be moments when fear tries to creep in. There will still be voices that question, that criticize, that try to convince you to turn back. But you cannot turn back. You cannot go back to who you used to be. Luke 9:62 says, "No one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God." The only direction you can go now is forward. Forward into the promise. Forward into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. The chosen ones do not shrink in the face of adversity. They do not retreat when the path becomes difficult. They stand firm. They move forward with faith. They walk with the authority of those who know that heaven is backing them. This is what makes them different. This is why they cannot be ignored. This is why they cannot be stopped. Doors that once seemed closed will now begin to open. Opportunities that once felt distant will begin to align. The right people, the right resources, the right moments will all begin to come together in ways that cannot be explained by human understanding. Psalm 37:23 says, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him." Every step you take from this moment forward is being divinely guided. Every decision you make is part of a bigger plan. The waiting season is over. The preparation has been completed. The final test has passed. Now, the only thing left to do is walk forward with boldness. And no more questioning whether you are ready. You have been ready. And no more wondering if you are enough. You have always been enough. And no more allowing fear to hold you back. Fear has no place in the heart of the chosen. You have been set apart. You have been anointed for something greater. 1 Peter 2:9 says, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light." You are stepping out of darkness. You are stepping into the light. This is the moment when everything changes. This is the shift that has been waiting to happen. This is the fulfillment of everything you have prayed for, everything you have believed for, everything that has been promised to you. And no more looking back. No more second guessing. No more delaying what has already been set in motion. The chosen ones do not just dream about the future they created. They do not just wait for change, they become the change. They do not just talk about destiny, they walk in it. The time has come. The calling has been confirmed. The season has arrived, and from this moment forward, nothing will ever be the same again.